Hello, and welcome to Fairies, Mermaids, Unicorns. Today we explore the Griffin, a legendary creature that combines the attributes of a lion and an eagle. It has captured the imagination of people across cultures and throughout history. In this episode, we will explore the fascinating world of Griffins, from their mythological origins to their symbolism, magic powers, and prominent role in fantasy literature, gaming, and heraldry. Griffins are dualistic creatures that unite heaven and earth, good and evil. Their role in myths and literature is ambiguous. They can act as protectors, patrons, or vicious beasts. Why did they attract people of the past, and are they still admired by people of the present? The word griffin comes from the Greek word curved. Griffins have appeared in various mythologies, leaving their mark in cultures such as Persian, Cretan, and Egyptian. First appearing in ancient Assyria, the Griffins soon became known from the Himalayas and China to the coast of Ireland. The oldest image of a griffin known today was found near the city of Shusha on the territory of modern Iran. A seal made around 3000 BC showed such a beast. In Persian mythology, they were known as Sherdal and were associated with divine power and guardianship. In ancient Crete, they were believed to be loyal companions of the gods. Griffins have long been known in Egypt. The Egyptians revered the griffin as a protector and symbol of the sun god. On the territory of Greece, griffins are found on the monuments of prehistoric Crete, 17 to 16 centuries BC, and then in Sparta, 8 to 7 centuries BC. The Greeks associated them mainly with the gods Dionysus, Nemesis, and Apollo. The latter was often depicted riding a griffin or riding in a chariot drawn by griffins. In the Middle Ages, the griffin could often be seen on coats of arms, on the walls of cathedrals, and on the pages of manuscripts. The very appearance of the griffin and its role vary in different cultures. Most often, the back of its torso is that of a lion, although occasionally it could be that of a panther or a dog. The tail looks like a dragon's or a snake's. The front part of the body is bird-like, but sometimes you could see ears on the head of a griffin. In some cases, the griffin's beak was decorated with small but very sharp teeth. The griffin's head usually sported small horns or a tuft. The neck was decorated with a row of spikes or a magnificent mane. Because of these significant differences in the appearance of each griffin, they even tried to classify these creatures. Medieval German scientists divided them into 3 types: the griffin bird, the griffin snake, and the griffin lion. But other authors of that time disputed this division because the last 2 specimens were usually depicted with a body covered with scales, which means they were related to dragons. It was believed that only the griffin bird was a true griffin. The griffin's temperament was also different depending on culture and mythology. In general, the griffin was a proud, brave, and freedom-loving beast that did not recognize anyone's power. All these qualities made it perhaps the best guardian, a role it played in many legends and myths. For example, the Greeks considered griffins to be the guardians of the Hyperborean gold. Medieval bestiaries usually divided animals into good and evil. The griffin was often attributed to the latter, although many authors endowed it with positive qualities. It was assumed that the griffin was a symbol of knowledge because it knew where to find gold. Also in the Middle Ages, it was believed that the griffin indirectly symbolized the dual nature of Christ: divine, bird, and human, lion. Christ is a lion, for he reigns and has power. He is an eagle, for after the resurrection, he ascends to heaven. The griffin has always personified strength, rage, and ruthlessness. It is a magnificent guardian, capable of taking revenge until the end of its days. All these qualities explain why the griffin is so popular in heraldry. It has always been associated with the rulers of heaven and earth. Having appeared on the royal seals in ancient times, the griffins successfully migrated to heraldry. The image of griffins or griffin heads was extremely popular in the 15th and 17th centuries. According to medieval ideas about the world, the existence of various fairy tale creatures was considered a real fact without discussion. Miraculous properties were attributed to various parts of their bodies. The griffin was no exception. According to legend, if you make a cup out of its claw, it will immediately change color to show the presence of poison. Of course, it was not easy to get such a claw. It was given to a person as a reward if he cured the griffin of a serious illness. In the Middle Ages, several such cups were known, although, in fact, they all turned out to be made from the horns of quite ordinary animals. It was claimed that a blind person would see clearly if you moved a griffin's feather over their eyes. And in several early German medical books, it is mentioned that if a griffin puts its head on the chest of a woman suffering from infertility, she will be cured of her ailment. According to scientists, the only bird that more or less corresponds to the ancient descriptions of the griffin is the bearded vulture. It lives in the mountains of southern Europe, Central Asia, and some parts of Africa. This large bird has a tuft of long, coarse hair on its chin, and an equally coarse stubble hides its nostrils. In the upper part of the body, the bearded man has a black-gray, or reddish-brown light shade, color. The white cap is bordered with black. The length of the bird is a little more than a meter, and the wingspan is about 3 meters. The bearded vulture got its name because of stories about how this creature lifted lambs and even small children into the air and carried them away. Zoologists claim that there are no real facts confirming these rumors. The Scythians, who lived north of the Black Sea, tattooed their bodies with images of griffins, but without wings. Instead, they had a large frill on the back of their necks, and they may have resembled a beaked dinosaur named Protoceratops, whose fossilized remains were found in this region. Some scientists suggest that the image of the griffin was inspired by these fossilized remains. The travelers or traders in the regions of Scythia could also see the fossils and interpret them as belonging to griffins. Perhaps the word was also used to keep prospectors out of known gold mining areas. Even though the era of griffins has long passed, they are still in demand in modern art, including cinema, art, and literature. A famous movie, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, features Buckbeak, who turned out to be one of the most charming heroes of the third Harry Potter. Artists working in the fantasy genre often turn to the image of the griffin. It can be seen in the works of such masters as Tim Hildebrandt and Boris Vallejo. In computer games, a griffin is no less common than a unicorn. We can recall the World of Warcraft series and the famous Heroes of Might and Magic. In fantasy literature, griffins appear in the saga Dragonlance by M. Wace and T. Hickman. There, these animals are presented as stubborn and wayward, but still obeying their masters. They are also present in the novels of Andre Norton, Piers Anthony, and Clifford C. Mack. Griffins are also found in works for children. Alice in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll, and The Griffin and the Minor Canon by Frank Stockton. Despite the long age that griffins are known to have, these creatures live on. The image, which embodied the features of the proudest and noblest animals, the eagle and the lion, turned out to be so successful that it has survived to this day without any significant changes. Unlike other representatives of the bestiary, the griffin is so bright, original, and majestic that even in our time, the era of computers and space, one involuntarily wants to believe in the truthfulness of ancient legends about a beautiful freedom-loving creature with the body of a lion and the wings of an eagle. Thanks for watching. Don't hesitate to write your opinion in the comments below. Click the subscribe button if you want to get notifications about new episodes on the channel. See you soon!